This is the Hanging with A podcast.
What's up? What's up? This is the Hanging with A podcast coming to you always from lovely Brockton, Massachusetts. Thank you. As I say all the time before I get started my episodes, I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that's subscribing to the Hanging with A podcast. The Hanging with A podcast right now is at 17,900 subscribers. By the time you guys see this episode, fingers crossed, I'll be at 20,000 subscribers. The road to 100K subscribers continues. That's what I'm thriving for right now. So I want to say thank you to everybody out there that likes, comments, shares, and does all those things. So I appreciate you so much for building this platform for me. You can find the Hanging with A podcast on YouTube. I'm on Spotify. You can follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. As I say all the time, I'm all over the place. Without further ado, this man that I'm getting ready to introduce, I have been a fan of his music for a long time. I've been trying to get him on my podcast for a long time. He is Brockton's own. And I'm not even gonna, I'm going to just be honest with you. He's one of the best MCs in this area that's really doing real rap, all right? Real storytelling and real motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Cez.
Appreciate you, my brother.
No
Appreciate
problem, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I say it all the time. You know what I mean? Hashtag real rap is back, man. And I feel like you're the pioneer for a lot of that going on right now, man. So thank you very much for doing what you're doing, man.
Thank
Because I appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
me. For those who don't know, my name's Cez, Brockton, Massachusetts representative. You feel what I'm saying? I'm a lyricist, a songwriter, um, you know, just a music enthusiast, all in all. You know what I'm saying? I always say I'm a fan first, so that's me.
Yeah, yeah. How was life for you growing up in Brockton, man?
Anybody that grew up around the time that I grew up could tell you the same, nigga. It was hectic. You feel what I'm saying? My upbringing before, jumping off the porch was a little bit rough. You know, Single parent household, jumping from place to place, shelters, I could go through all the stories and everything like that. But teenage years was, the early 2000s and shit like that was kind of a deep time out here in Brockton and shit. So, I got wrapped up in some of that shit as a teenager, and the older I grew, the less and less you care to become one with shit like that. You really look to separate yourself from that. So that's really how I could kind of describe my time growing up in Brockton. My upbringing and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not from Boston. You know what I mean? You're from Brockton.
Yeah.
How does that play an effect, man? And like when you make your music and just the music scene in general in Brockton.
Brockton. I always say that Brockton is its own place. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Mass, Boston has their thing. We have ours. And the two, I won't say that they don't mix because they can mix, but it's very rare that you mix them. Um, Early on in my career, I wasn't really too looking to get too into the Boston scene. Again, I'm from Brockton, so I don't really know cats out there. I'm used to doing music and things like that with people that I know, so that's why a lot of my early features were from artists that are from the city.
Yeah,
Um, But the more I move around and get introduced to different types of people, it opens the doors to collaborate with different people from different places. And I've had the opportunity to do that with a couple of artists from Boston and shit like that. So I think when it comes down to it, it's really all just finding the medium, and looking for people that want to work just as much as you want to, and have the same passion that you have.
yeah. No, I totally get that. Do you feel like a sense of like more responsibility to like try to continue to put Brockton on the map and the music that you come out with? Do you feel like it's just a lot of pressure on you to hold everything down, or do you feel like there's a collective of MCs in Brockton doing that.
I wouldn't say I feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Only because, music's always been a thing for me. So
Yep.
without recognition, I'm always gonna do it. So it's not really pressure. Do I put my city on my back? For sure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I want people to know where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Boston out here, just like somebody from Lawrence would want people to know that there's a Lawrence that exists and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I really just I try to I try to represent my city as best as I can in the stories that I tell, the pictures the pictures that I paint and things like that, just to make sure that it's well represented. You know what I mean? And I carry it with pride. I love my city to death.
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, I hear it in the music, man. I definitely hear it in the music. When did you fall in love with hip hop?
You know what's crazy? I saw an interview with Vince Staples.
Yep.
Was somebody had asked him the same question and he made a perfect point. He said, "How do you fall in love with something that you grow up with?" You
Yeah.
know, like when can you say that you fell in love with your mother? You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
been there. So my family's always been heavy into music. Whether it was, writing it or playing it or just, having it playing in the house and shit like that. So it's always been a cornerstone. My uncle will always tell me one of his favorite memories of me as a kid is I used to be in front of the TV dancing to rump shakers,
Yeah.
and the Humpty Dance. So those were my two favorite songs as a toddler. So I guess you could kind of say them.
Yeah, yeah, no, the digital underground, man, and that whole thing. I tell people all the time, like, the same thing that you just said. Like, I kind of like just, I feel like I fell in love with it for the first moment I heard it. You know what I mean? Jay Z, Wu Tang, Biggie, that '90s era.
Right.
I remember my grandmother playing Big Daddy Kane, Rakim in the House, Public Enemy. So a lot of
Man,
those things, you know what I mean? I grew up listening to a lot of that stuff, which is why, like, emceeing is so important to me. And I had the DOC on here, man, the great DOC on here,
so
and he told me he was like, "There's a difference between a rapper and an MC."
absolutely.
And I was like, break that down further. He said a rapper is just somebody that's just looking for, they just want something in the moment.
Hmm.
An MC carries longevity. You know what I mean? And when I look around a lot, man, I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? I could get a ton of rappers on here. You know what I mean? But I want to build something where I'm getting more MCs on here.
Right.
People that are like yourself, creating music with the message and creating music with a sound. You're painting a story. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And that's what I love about it. When did you know you wanted to be an MC?
Oh man. Shit. Let me see. So I think the earliest memory that I have was probably in elementary school. I had lost a friend that was in the same class as me.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we weren't really like close friends. Like we were school friends. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, but when we found out about what happened, the teacher, sat us all down, gave us the sad story and everything like that. And I don't know, something prompted me to go home that night and just write a song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can still remember it. It's funny. I can literally still remember it. But that was probably like when I realized, like, okay, I can write music. You know what I mean? I could do something that makes sense in music form. So that would probably be it. I think when I really realized that I wanted to record music, my father was a gospel rapper.
Okay. Okay.
And I remember as a kid, he had a group, him and a couple of his friends and shit like that. And when he found out that I liked doing music, decided he was gonna bring me with him. And it was just like, I forget where it was, but the studio was in like a camper. You feel what I'm
Okay.
saying? Looked like a tour bus. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And just the fact that there was a studio in a car, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
shocked. I remember sitting in during his session and he's recording and I had my headphones on CD player that was skipped and everything. Just writing songs to the songs I was listening to in my headphones. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
those are probably two like the more monumental moments in my life that like kind of put me on that music trajectory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, no, no. I get that. What would you say separates you from other MCs in your generation and this generation?
I would probably have to say, um, I would probably have to say that I value the culture of music. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of artists that come into this for monetary purposes, for clout purposes, or for the popularity contest of all of it. Um, I'm gonna do music regardless of any of that. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
I never go to a studio again, if I never touch a stage again, if I never do another interview, I'm still gonna have, raps in my phone. I'm still gonna have raps on paper. There's still gonna be beats in my headphones and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I really pride myself in having an authentic love for the sport of this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of artists, rappers, MCs, whatever you want to call it, I feel like a lot of people lose sight of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like it, like you just said, I feel like it is becoming a popularity contest. Uh, Everybody thinks they can do it, right? You got the SoundCloud, you got all that stuff. Um, but again, man, it's nice to come across people that are just doing it genuinely, just for the art and the love of it. Talk to me about Product of the Pain too, man. Great body of work by you. Again, you know what I mean? The storytelling, the beat selection, your flow, your cadence, just everything about that album, man, is just beautifully put together. Talk to me a little bit about that, man, the process and what went on behind that.
So the process to Product of the Pain 2 was a lengthy one, man. Like I had started working on this album, EP, whatever people want to categorize it as. I had started working on this after the first Product of the Pain one. I was working on it in the midst of dropping By All Means Necessary. And I think it took so long because there was so much that went on
Yeah,
between, dropping Product of the Pain and then actually dropping Product of the Pain 2. So much so that I put Product of the Pain 2 to the side to make completely different music that I put into By All Means Necessary. Um, you know, the first project there was a lot of unity. There was a lot of um control as far as like, how everybody's maneuvering with everything. You know what I'm saying? Especially even in personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that come in with you and shit like that. Post Product of the Pain one, a lot of shit changed. Some relationships weren't there anymore. I had a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah,
um 2023, I decided to go back to work and shit like that. Like it's just a lot of shit went into it. To where it took a long time to kind of perfect what it was gonna be because there was so much shit going on at the time. Um, but Product of the Pain 2, I sat down with that for a long time. I had it done, I wanna say maybe like the fourth quarter of 2023. And then I was supposed to drop it in August of last year. And I didn't end up dropping it this year because there were some creative differences with certain songs. Nah, you good, bro. There was creative differences with certain songs. Some technical stuff with like the beats and things like that. But the music's always been there. And I mean, I just, to be honest with you, I wasn't as proud of Product of the Pain 2
mm.
or
Oh, okay,
as I am now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Took it took some sitting down and really like going back and listening to all of my music and
yeah,
like really hearing how my life changed over the course of those years for me to really appreciate Product of the Pain 2 for what it actually was. You know what I mean? Like when I
Yeah.
dropped, thinking, let me just keep pounding the pavement. Let me get them riled up, and really what I realized is more so that I'm giving my testimony through music, more or less in like real time. You feel me? So
Yeah.
that's why I appreciate the second project a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to Product of the Pain 1 and I listened to Product of the Pain 2. You definitely can see you can definitely see the progress. You know what I mean? You can definitely see even more polished, right? I think even more well thought out. I feel like Product of the Pain 1 was great, but I
Mm.
think you stepped it up like a lot more with Product of the Pain 2. But you can hear the growth. You know what I mean? Like, my favorite tracks on there, Traumatized, Shark in the Water, and Hardheaded.
Mm.
I feel like all three of those tracks stand out to me because I feel like you're painting pictures. You're telling your story. Um, Talk to me, man, a little bit, man, about like those tracks, man. Like, what was the like what were you trying to do when you created those?
So traumatized is more. Every project that I work on, I want to make sure that I have the strongest introduction possible. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And if you listen to all of my projects, there's a underlying theme of like past to present. Um, and what traumatized it was more kind of like a blend of all of that. It's like you know explaining my past and comparing it to like present and shit like that. Like, um, you know, I had said, what if I never had a chance to be a pops? What if Lil Chris had never had his chance to see the ops? What
Yep.
if I had that 30 on me day I seen the cops and they decide like so these are all situations where it's like, all right, what if I never was a father? What happened if that young nigga that was following us when we was on the block that grew up wanting to be like the niggas that he saw didn't run into his opposition? You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What if when I was out here wilding and shit like that, that one day that I decided to keep it home and not bring it in the car with me, I
Yeah.
just so happened to get pulled over because of my tints. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah.
if none of this shit? You feel me? So it's like
Yeah.
with traumatized, it was more so when I started writing it, it just got realer and realer and realer and realer. So it was like, all right, this has to be the intro. And that's why I was saying that, ain't a line in this motherfucker of fabrication. You feel me?
Right.
Because all of that shit's facts. Um, Sharks in the Water. Sharks in the Water, I was kind of like in my bag. I was um I was probably feeling a type of way. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, being an artist, you're gonna deal with a lot of different personalities. You're gonna
Yeah.
deal with a lot of different opinions and um people trying to get a reaction out of you for whatever reason. And Sharks in the Water, I really just felt was more so like me trying to address that, but also clarify like lions don't associate with sheep. You know what I mean? You'll never see a lion come down to the sheep's barn to explain to them why they a lion. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think that's really the underlying analogy of Sharks in the Water. Um, as far as Hardheaded goes, man, that song that song is almost like 4 years old. Truth be told, so I wrote that song probably like I probably wrote that song around Product of the Pain 1. Um, and it was a full song. It was a solo song. I had two verses on it. Hook was the same. Beat was different though. And just going to the studio, trying to work on different things, perfect it. It just so happened that we had been to me and my manager had went to a Joyner Lucas show out here at the House of Blues, and we ran into Simba and his manager while we was
Yeah.
moving through. Had a conversation with Simba, let him know, respect your pen. Whoop, whoop. He's like, look, that's your manager. Have him holler at my manager. I'm out here for a couple of days. Let's see what we can get done. Um, so put the shit in the works, made a couple of calls, got Simba to the studio. I had sent him 2 or 3 songs before he pulled up, and I'm like, look, whichever one you want to work with, just hit me back. And Hardheaded was the song that he sent me back. He was like, I'll get on this one. I'm like, all right, cool. We got there. I'm pretty sure he had wrote like 8 bars before he even got to the studio.
Yeah.
Pulled up, we was kicking it. I mean, all of that cool shit. Um, and he wrote the rest of the verse there in the studio with me. Me and him went back and forth on certain ideas for this, certain ideas for that. It was really like an in-depth recording session. You know what I mean? So, for that reason mainly, I value that song in a whole different capacity. You know what I mean? Because not for nothing, that was really kind of like my first introduction to a quote unquote big feature. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you get a big feature like that, man. Like, do you find so like that one seemed like it just came, y'all connected. Have you tried to like get different features with different artists and like it hasn't gone that well or like they haven't gotten back to you? Like how is that, man? Like you know what I mean? Because I've heard different stories about rappers in the industries and stuff like that, and like how they
Yeah.
just either they won't give you the time of day or either they'll give you the time of day or like something like that. So like how was that, man? That experience with Simba?
The experience itself with Symbol was dope. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to him and
Yeah,
his team. Um, got nothing bad to say about him. But that situation did kind of open my eye. Like I think 3 steps ahead. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking
yeah,
like, okay, if I was to do this again, how would I do it? And truth be told, I don't really see. I'm not gonna say there's no value in it, but at the level that I'm at right now, the money that or the level that any artist is that I'm at right now, the money that you would consider spending for these bigger features would be better placed in other places that would, better help you get where you're trying to go. You know what I mean? I do have the connection to him, obviously, his management team, whatever the case may be, and that's dope. So that's what I, appreciate from that whole interaction. Because that's where I seen the value actually lie. Being able to call these people, hey man, look, this is my idea from somebody who knows more than I do. What do you think? You know what I mean? So perspective was really the biggest takeaway from that. But when it comes to the monetary value or gain from it, I I'm not looking to do any more big features until I'm in a place where I can where it makes sense for me to do.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so and to each his own. Everybody has their own situation. Me personally, I already don't like niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like I already don't want to be in everybody face type shit like that. So unless it's on some genuine mutual, like yo, I heard you, let's get to it. And I fuck with the artist too. Then right now I'm not really going out my way too much
yeah.
for any big features.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that, you know what I mean? I feel like it has to make sense. It definitely has to make sense when you put the music together. Product of the Pain too, man. What was the inspiration behind it?
Um, I wanted to follow up with the second one to kind of settle it. You know what I mean? Kind of to get this. This is the so my plan, my idea as of right now is that Product of the Pain 2 is going to be the last one.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get stuck in a box of just being a pain rapper. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Every time we hear him, he talking about some depressive shit or whatever the
Yeah,
case is. Um, because I do have, my life is dope. You feel me? But that's just where my niche was at the time. That's where my head was. That's what I was feeling at the time. And with Product of the Pain too, it was more or less like, all right, let me get all of this out. Let me get all of this out the way. Clean slate. After this one's out, we could get back to lyricism. We could get back to storytelling. We could get back to, going back to working on our sound so that we could get some club hits, so that we could get the lady hits, and so that was really the idea of Product of the Pain too, and that's why at the end of Traumatized, I said I'm just a product of the pain and I'm embellishing it, I'm settling it, because this is meant to be the
Yeah.
last product of the pain too. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
The
that.
same reason why I ended it with greatest. Sorry, because I feel like that is probably, if you listen to Product of the Pain 1 from start to finish and then you immediately listen to Product of the Pain 2 after it, the way the first one starts and the second one ends,
Yeah.
it's like a beginning and an end. You know what I mean? Like the beginning of the season and then the very last season finale of the last season. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I mean, again, man, it's a great album, man. I mean, you really did your thing on that, man. But you really did your thing on the first one too, man. So when I heard this one,
Appreciate that.
I was like, yeah, he just picked up where he left off, man. But you just expanded it that much more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Just a more matured, polished artist, really.
yeah, yeah. And you can hear that, man. You can definitely hear that in the music, especially somebody like me, man, who just, you know what I mean, like traumatized. I listened to traumatized probably about 6 times in a row. You
Mm,
know what I mean? Because I like to listen to things for understanding. I don't like to just put music on just to put it on. You know what I
right.
mean? If I'm going to sit down and listen to your music, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to break it down and let you know, hey, look, I like this. I didn't like that.
Mm,
I haven't come across too many things on the underground scene that I have not liked and loved. I feel like genuinely underground hip hop is the best hip hop right now.
hell yeah.
Um, and I feel
Hell yeah.
like the best artists are underground artists right now. And that's because I feel like a lot of you, man, are rapping with that hunger and that desire that a lot of people in that industry are not rapping with, right?
Right.
I think about it like this, man. Like, you had the Kendrick and Drake situation, right? That's probably the biggest thing that's happened in hip hop in a really long time.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And
Hell yeah.
I was around for the Tupac and Biggie. I was younger during that, so I didn't really quite understand that. But
Hmm.
then I was there for the Jay-Z and Nas,
Yeah.
right? That shifted the culture. Now you look at the Drake and Kendrick situation, we've shifted the culture once again. Um, and it's just I feel like hip hop is in a good place. Like, what do you think? Like, when you think about hip hop right now, what do you think about it?
Oh man. I mean, the game's different, man, and I think about this shit a lot. Um, it's a trendy thing now.
Yeah,
There's no real love for it anymore. There's no real, or at least from the outside looking into the industry, based off of what the industry gives us. It just seems like a lot of the artists, going back to my earlier point, just looking for the popularity of it, just looking for the money out of it, and it shows in the music. You
yeah,
know what I mean? I think that mumble rap has a lot to do with why that is.
yeah,
I think auto tune has a lot to do with why that is. But in the same sense, it's like, with age, everything changes. Um, but I also believe that, history does repeat itself. So on the other hand, I think that we might be in the best space right now for like a lyrical artist such as myself, um, than we have been since like the early 2000s. You
yeah.
know what I mean? With, the Benny the Butchers and their whole
Hmm.
teams, and,
Hmm.
just, the JIDs and the Cordays and,
Hmm.
the artists that really kick shit. Those to me are kind of like those are our foremen right now as far as pushing the culture forward in that direction. I don't really get too much with like the pop rap and the TikTok rap and shit like that. I don't really speak too much on it because I can't do it. I don't really understand it. Um, but I think if a lot of artists, a lot of lyricists, a lot of MCs start pushing more with their shit, it's only so much time before lyricists are kicking the door back down.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm waiting for because, like you just said, everybody that you just named, including yourself, you guys are lyricists, you guys are MCs, and I feel like what you just said, like what you're right. I feel like there's a lane for it now because people are tired of that. People are tired of that bubblegum stuff, the mumble stuff. So now people are like, I know what, I need something to kind of like that. You know what I mean? That's gonna get me like back into the love of it, man. So, and that's why I feel where underground hip. I feel like underground hip hop is carrying that right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like they're carrying that right now. So, um, that's how I feel. You know, people probably will feel different, but that's my opinion on it.
You know
Um,
what? You know what I think? I think a lot. I think a lot of this has to do with the artist that doesn't write anymore.
yeah,
The artist that just freestyles.
yeah,
Um, I hear it all the time from producers, bro. Like that method of recording is just so redundant
yeah,
and it lacks substance. You
yeah.
feel me? So again, it shows in the product. Like you can go in there and say anything just off of the top of your head, but how much does it really mean if it doesn't mean anything?
Right.
You know
And
what I
that's like
mean?
when, right. And when I think about that style of rap, right? Um, and it's funny because I had this conversation with a friend of mine's, and I'm like, you know, we were talking about like Jay Z, and he was like, you know, they call Jay Z the Rain Man because Jay Z can go in there and not write,
Hmm.
and like he didn't really understand that concept. I said, yeah, man. I said he doesn't write. I said, but when you hear him rap, it all makes sense. He's not just in there saying a whole bunch of BS.
Right.
He's rapping about real shit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he said on God did. He was like, yo, I rap for 8 minutes, but every bar is I'm telling you the truth. That's
Exactly.
hard to do. That's
Now,
hard to do.
if you look at that compared to like a Wayne, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Not taking anything away from Wayne because Wayne is a fucking great. But
Yep.
if you listen to the songs that he's known to be freestyling,
Yep.
it's a lot of everywhere. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yep.
Every
Yeah.
line is it doesn't connect to the last line. It doesn't connect to the next line. It's just a line
Right.
because there's no thought process into it. It's just kick your shit, which I respect. Because that's essentially what hip hop was built off of. Those
Yeah.
ciphers just coming in and kicking your shit, saying whatever sounds good and rapping to make a point. But when it comes to songwriting and projects and putting shit out that means something, 9 times out of 10 it comes from artists that are writing their shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree. I was gonna ask you about the Kendrick and Drake thing, but I already know how you feel about that. So
Yeah. What a time to be alive. You feel what I'm saying?
right,
I'm
right.
happy. I'm happy that so I was still a kid for the Tupac and Biggie thing. Um Jay Z and Nas, I was just getting into it,
Yep.
just getting into hip hop, rap. So I didn't really fully grasp um the whole beef in its totality. But to be able to sit here from start to finish and see the Drake and Kendrick thing transpire from 2015 all the way up till now, I
Yeah.
think that that shit's dope as hell.
Yeah. No, it was a good one, man. And it was a good one. I worried there for a little bit. I was like, I don't know if you want this type of smoke, Drake. You know what I mean? But one thing somebody says, like he doesn't back down. I will give him that. He may
Hmm.
lose, but he doesn't back down. Like he tried his best. But Kendrick is a different beast, man. Like
I think
he's just different.
I think the only reason why Kendrick won this is
Yep.
because Kendrick beat Drake at his own game.
Yep. Yeah.
Drake can be a lyricist, but he's a songwriter. He's a popular rap artist.
Yeah.
Um, One that's known to win beefs off of social media, off of hit records.
Yeah.
And Kendrick did what he was supposed to do with the first couple because he's a lyricist. Um, but not like us hit the way that it hit because we was expecting something like that from Drake because that's what we know Drake to do.
Yeah.
That's what we know Drake to do in beefs. You know what I mean? And for Kendrick, who's not a hit geared artist, for him to do that in the midst of this beef and then win it with that is really what put the icing on the cake for this whole shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Um, top five, man. Give me your top five, dead or alive.
Shit, top five. I Pac, Jay Z,
Mm-hmm.
old Eminem. I'm not gonna say new Eminem. Old Eminem.
Okay.
Um, Big L.
Oh, Big L. Okay. Damn. I don't hear that name that often.
You know what? I'm gonna take old M out. I'm gonna take old M out.
Okay.
I'm gonna take old M out. I'm gonna put Nipsey in there,
Yep.
and then I'm gonna throw me in there.
Yeah, throw you in there, man.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I'm gonna throw
Definitely.
me in there.
Definitely throw you in there, man. I like that. I like that. I don't hear Big L that often. I love Nip. Um, just a lot of things that I love about Nip, man. Just, his music and his mind and just how he carried himself, man. So um rest in peace to Nip, man.
Absolutely.
Um shift gears a little bit, man. What does being a father mean to you, man?
Oh man, everything, bro. Everything. Being a father has taught me more about myself than I've learned about myself in the years prior. Um, how to deal with my patients, how to handle my emotions, how to love somebody other than myself, um, how not to be selfish, how to be a better man. You know what I mean? Like just so many different things that, people explain to you before you have children or kind of give you, the warning before you have them and you never really heed those words until you're actually there.
Yep.
Everything that they told me is exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I keep in mind the fact that I'm a father daily. When I'm out making any kind of decisions, that's in the back of my mind. So you know, now that I'm a father, bro, that shit plays a huge, huge part of my life.
Yeah. I mean, same for me, man. I got three. Um my oldest
Shit.
is my oldest is turning 11 tomorrow.
Mm,
Um, you know,
happy early birthday.
Thank you. And my
Salute.
girls are six. I had two kids from. I'm married. I'm remarried.
Okay.
And I was married before. We had two kids together. So I got two daughters, and I got my son. My wife, she had a daughter. I call her my daughter now. So,
Okay.
we got a nice little big family going on over here, man. But I take being a father very seriously, man. It's something that I don't take for granted because not everybody gets a chance to do it. So,
It's a fact.
um, I'm glad that I've been given this opportunity to do it, man. And I try to do it, as good as I can, man. The best that I know how to,
Right.
So
Same here, man. Same
yeah,
here. Like I always told myself the day that it happens, I'm gonna right all the wrongs that were put on me in my
yeah,
situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
um, so I think that's a lot of the driving force too, as to, how I go about my parenting and being there for my daughter and things like that.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I love that. If you could give your, if you can give a younger version of yourself advice, what would you say?
All them niggas not your niggas. Trust that hoe is not your bitch.
Yeah,
Oh God. Oh God. And it's crazy too because younger me had that advice. It's just being hard headed.
yeah,
Be thinking that you know everything, thinking that, these people that I'm around are gonna be, indefinite. It's never gonna go away, and that loyalty is always gonna be there. Shit changes. Shit changes so fast in the blink of an eye. And if I would have just listened to those things that those people were telling me,
yeah,
a lot of shit would have went really different. Um, I'd be in a lot different place right now. So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What impact do you want your music to have?
Yo, bro. Truth be told, I just want to put my experience out there hoping that if there's somebody listening that's gone through the same thing, that it can give you some kind of perspective on how to better handle it than I have. Um, you know, I have a history of making bad decisions. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I've learned from a lot of them, and I'm still learning some of those lessons over too because I'm hard headed. But you know, a lot of what I put into my music is really just me talking to myself. It's really just me self reflecting on you know, decisions that I've made, situations that have happened, things like that, and really just being transparent and vulnerable enough to put it in there. So I really hope that when people listen to my music, I don't want people to hear gangster rap or he's trying to be hard, because if you listen to my music, that's not the
No.
that's not the push. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Right.
in there because that's what it comes from. But my overall purpose is to give somebody in a similar situation or who's dealing with similar feelings some kind of perspective on how to, you know, combat that.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot. Um, what's a quote you live by?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What's a quote you live by?
A quote I live by.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. There's a couple of them. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Um, what's another one? Let me see. If well, how did it go? Um, if you wouldn't take advice from them, why would you take criticism? Um, there's a lot of them, man, and that's a good question because I probably should have had some lined up. But yeah, those are just a few, bro. Like,
Yeah. No, I
and I,
like.
I kind of think in like quotes kind of give me some of the best perspective that I've ever had in life. You feel me? So there's more
Yeah.
than a few of them.
I I mean my all time favorite is from Nipsey, man, and the highest human act is to inspire.
Hmm. Yep.
Um and I believe that, man. Like I started this 4 years ago, and I've been chipping away, man, working hard, man, and getting it to where it's at now, man. I'm gonna continue to work hard, but um I'm a teacher also. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's crazy because I just put an episode out Friday, and one of my students, her name is Briani, and she comments on all my videos. Good job, Mr. Roberts. Keep doing your thing, Mr. Roberts. Um, and that's what I do it for. You know what I mean? If
Hmm.
I don't make no money off of this, I'm straight. You know, as long as I get to talk to people that are genuinely doing what they love to do and they doing it for the right reason, and they can sit down and have a conversation with me, man, I did what I'm supposed to do. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? All the extra stuff is going to take care of itself, man. But I just want to make sure, man, that I'm building something authentic and I'm building something real, and I feel like that's what I'm doing, with this podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Another quote that I heard is the definition of your legacy is the things that you leave behind.
yep,
Um,
yes,
so I think in a sense that's also kind of like my purpose with music is like, all right, if all fails, at least this right here, people could say, look, this is how he thought. You know what I mean? This is his way of thinking and shit like that. So it's that's really all it is, bro. Is to teach each one
yeah,
teach. You know what I mean?
yep. Um, 10 people, 10 people to if you could invite 10 people to a dinner, dead or alive, who you invited?
10 of them.
10 of them.
10
Anybody
of
you
them.
want,
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Dead or alive, huh?
dead or alive, anybody.
All right. Well, I gotta get my nigga Slim,
Okay.
Deej, Novi. I gotta get y'all three back. We gonna have y'all at the table. Um, Pac and Big, because I want to know what's up with them niggas. What was y'all niggas' real issue? Like, let's get it. Let's start the chopping the fable. You feel
Hmm.
me? Nigga, damn, five. Who else? Five other ones. Five other ones. Uh, I'll say. Did I say Nip?
You didn't say Nip.
All right, so Nip. Um, hmm, JFK.
Oh, okay, okay,
JFK, because I want to know what he knew to make them kill him. You feel
okay.
what I'm saying? I want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JFK from Dorchester too. So
You said what?
I think he's from Dorchester, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, for real?
Hmm.
That's crazy. All right. Let me see. God damn. All right, I'm gonna throw him in here. Now I'm not a religious nigga, but I got some questions. So Jesus, come take a seat at this table, man. We
Hmm.
gotta have some conversations. Two more. You know what? All of those were dead, I think. So um, my daughter and my mother. There you
Okay,
go.
I like that. I like that.
There you go.
What's some advice you would give me?
Um, the best advice I could give you, bro, is continue doing what you're doing. Be consistent. Be unapologetic. Um, and don't let any outside interference or white noise, blur the vision that you got in front of you, bro. It's easy to
Okay.
get wrapped up in shit that really don't mean anything to what it is that we're trying to do as far as like the bigger purpose.
Yeah.
Um, Especially being creatives, because we deal with not only the outside influence but our own mental influence with the whole shit. So it's just, bro, stick to your shit, be
Yeah.
consistent, and that shit gonna work out for you.
No, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much for telling me that.
Absolutely.
Um, Last question, man. What's up next for you, man? What's up next for Cez, man? What you giving us, man?
Right now, man, I mean, right now we in the season of Product of the Pain too. You feel what I'm
Okay.
saying? I don't wanna get too ahead of myself. There definitely will be more music. Um, y'all are hearing it here first. I got a video for Brothers that's gonna be coming out soon. There'll be a date for that soon. But right now, bro, it's really I'm trying to be the best father I could be. You know what I mean? Be the best man I could be, and put out the best quality music that I absolutely can. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So as far as music goes, I can't tell you exactly what's next, but the next shit gonna be just as dope as the last one. I can promise you that.
Yep. I can imagine that, man. I just want to say thank you, man. You know what I mean? I've been trying to connect with you for a long time, man. I appreciate you taking this time out, man, to connect with me. Um, Keep doing what you're doing, man. The culture needs what you're doing. Trust and believe that. People like me, that's a hip hop head, a hip hop junkie, I would call myself. I love this. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're in the season of real MCs, man. And like I said before, I feel like you're at the forefront of that, man. And I just want you to continue doing what you're doing, man. Continue giving us that good music. Continue giving that music that we can, that we can think. You know what I mean? That we can learn, that we can grow from, man. Because I feel like that's what you're doing. As long as you keep doing that, man, you're gonna be all right, man. Because I feel like the culture needs what you're doing, man, and your lane is wide. The lane that you creating for yourself is wide open because you're creating that lane, man. You know what I mean? You're not piggybacking off of anybody else. You're doing your own thing, and I love that about you, man. I love that about your music.
I appreciate that, Abe. No bullshit, man. And not for nothing. Um, I appreciate you taking this interview. I know we've been locked in for a little bit.
Yeah,
It's been almost 2 years now. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But I do think that, holding it off for as long as we did made for a fucking great interview.
yeah.
Um, and I just want to say that I appreciate you. I appreciate your platform. I
Thank you, man.
appreciate your support. And I hope you keep going with this shit for real, because you got some dope ass questions, and you bring up a lot of dope guests. So I mean, keep doing your shit, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Y'all go listen to that Product of the Pain 2 out everywhere on every platform. Stream it, like it, share it. All right, man. Keep doing your thing, C's.
Absolutely, my brother. Until next
All
time, I'll get with you. You heard?
right. All right,
All
man.
right. Yes, sir.